Good morning.
And good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good today.
That's right, we do.
Yeah,
We hope you had a good weekend, right?
that's right.
Beautiful and all this, that, and other, and had got to be able to get outside. Because outside, boy, this is the time to be outside. It's beautiful, ain't it?
It's
Got a
beautiful.
beautiful morning here right now.
I wonder, y'all put in the comments if you can hear the birds.
Probably.
Ain't that sweet?
Yeah, they're getting with it out there, just like we are. But first, we're going to do the big daily devotion, okay? Thank y'all so much for clicking on, coming up in here. More than enough is the title, right? More than enough. And I mean, you could just use your imagination and think what that more than enough is for you. But today in our devotion, it's talking about something that's pretty awesome that happened, which a lot of things that everything that Jesus did was pretty awesome. To be honest with you, it's like it blew everybody's mind, especially the recipient of it. You know, if you had been blind since birth or had leprosy for most of your life, or if not all your life, and you was an outcast and nobody cared for you, nobody wanted to be around you, and then all of a sudden, boom. Yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is.
So today's devotion is more than enough. The Bible thought is out of John 10:10, and it says, I come that they may have life and have it abundantly. Boom. That's exactly right. He sure did. He came so that we could have life and to have it abundantly, man. You know, like it should be awesome for all of us. When we've got Jesus, we've got God, we've got what we need, right? That in itself. And let's see. Yesterday it was in Mark talking about where John the Baptist was, put in prison because of a woman, and basically had his head or beheaded because of a woman. And it's like, man, oh man. But this, King Herod and his wife and his wife's daughter. Read that account. It's pretty wild. So we're picking up right after that. In Mark chapter 6, verses 30 through 44. And here we go. And the apostles gathered together themselves unto Jesus, and told him all things, but what they had done, and what they had taught. And he said unto them, Come ye yourselves apart into a desert place, and let's rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they had no leisure so much as to eat. So, I mean, they were pretty busy. Word got around, Word got around that Jesus was doing some awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And well, if you had some kind of problem for years or whatever, it don't even matter if you had it for years or not, you would want that, if possible, taken from you. And Jesus was the man. He was the one known for that. So, verse 32, and they departed into a desert place by boat privately. And the people saw them departing. And many knew him and ran afoot thither out of all the cities and ran ahead of them and came together unto them. Boy, they just kept on going. And Jesus, when he came out, saw much people and was moved with compassion towards them, because they were as sheep not having a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. And when the day was now far spent, his disciples came unto him and said, This is a lonely place, and now the time is far past. Send them away, that they may go into the country round about, and into the villages, and buy themselves bread, for they have nothing to eat. He answered and said unto them, Give ye them to eat. And they said, Shall we go and buy 200 pennyworth of bread and give them to eat? like, we don't have nothing to give them. There was a bunch of them. And they was like, well, should we go into the town or into the villages and buy and then bring it back? He said unto them, Jesus said, how many loaves have ye? Go and see. And when they knew, they said, 5. We have 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And he commanded them to make all sit down by companies upon the green grass. And they sat down in ranks by hundreds and by 50s. And when he had taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, he looked up into heaven and blessed, and brake the loaves, and gave them to his disciples to set before them. And the 2 fishes divided he among them all. And they did all eat, and were filled. Verse 43 says, and they took up 12 baskets full of the fragments and of the fishes. Now, how did that happen? Right? They had 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. How did all these people eat and were full? And there was 12 baskets full of fragments, leftovers. So 44 says, and they that did eat of the loaves were about 5,000 men. Man. So
that's a lot.
Right. And let's just not just say, oh, that's just a story, and we've heard that over and over again. I've heard it all my life. You go to Bible class when you're little, you're growing up, and you learn these things, of these stories of Jesus and what he did. And where it says before they even talked about food, Jesus seen them running and going where they were going to they were going to a desert place to rest. But they were coming, and they were just, and Jesus got out of the boat. He felt, he had compassion upon them. And he started talking to them, And so that went on all day. And so nobody had ate,
Isn't that amazing?
And there's the awesome that comes out of this. Jesus is like, okay, what do we got to eat? And then they told him. And he says, okay, have all these people sit down. And they were a bunch, because we didn't know at the time. But reading on down into 44 there, it says 5,000 men. It doesn't mention women or children. So they've always kind of been in a little debate of saying, well, he only mentioned the men. So if there were 5,000 men, how many men, women, and children were there all together? Well, we don't know. It just says there were 5,000. 5,000 to be fed with 5 pieces of bread.
Talk about multiplying.
And 2 fish, right?
If you sit and think of that.
Wow.
And I have before. Just like that is out of this world.
Yeah. And picked up 12 full baskets of fragments. So what he had to begin with, 5 loaves and 2 fish, I could pretty much hold in both my hands, and balance it, stack it up a little bit, whatever. But when they were done eating all of them and all were filled, they were 12 times more, or whatever you want to say. No, it's more than that, That, okay, he didn't heal them. He didn't heal nobody right here in this account. No one that was blind, no one that was sick, no one that was whatever. But he fed himself, the disciples, and everyone that was there. 5,000 men.
That's a feast, though.
That's a feast. Yeah. So, more than enough. Remember that, the model prayer that Jesus said, and the first of it is he's just asking, Lord, give us this day our daily bread. He didn't ask for next week or, here 3 or 4 days from now. No, he just asked for it right then and there. And just like then, in this account, it was just then and there. Nobody prepared and took no big buckets of chicken or nothing to eat, on the grounds under the shade trees.
He made it happen.
But he made it happen, right? He made it happen. Because we all get hungry. We all get hungry, boy. I'm telling you what, whenever you're sitting there in the church pew and it's clock's ticking and it's coming up there closer to 11:30 or 12, what does your belly start doing? Starts growling. Then your mind starts thinking, I'm hungry. Where are we going to go eat?
I know.
You know what I mean?
That's happened before.
Happens a lot. And I'm, be honest, does it happen to you? But we shouldn't even worry, should we? Where we're going to eat. I'm hungry. Yeah, whatever. Well, we're going to be fed. We're going to be filled. And there's going to be fragments of it left over for you and everybody. With Jesus, he takes care of us. But boy, I am the world's worst to get hangry. I get hungry.
Yes, you guys.
I get hungry. I get upset and short fused and all this because it's like the mind and gut. The mind and gut.
You did basically throw a little temper tantrum.
Golly. Being honest.
Being truthful.
Yep. So more than enough. And it's here's the devotion that they wrote with this. If you have traveled abroad, you know that world cultures are all different. That's true. Very different. Very different. Imagine you are enjoying a meal with a family in Israel. If you eat everything on your plate, the host will immediately refill it, whether you are still hungry or not. Why? In Israel, you signify you are full by leaving a little bit on your plate. So there you go. If you clean that plate, they thought, well, this person is still hungry. Yeah. And they fill it right back up. And I know a lot of times me and you, if we're, we'll cook something in here and we'll fix our plates and whatever. And we're hungry. And you fix your plate and you got your green beans and corn and whatever, you're eating piled on there. And then when you sit down, you think, I'm going to eat every bit of this and then some. But then you find out you're full before you're done.
Yeah. And
you got a little bit on your plate. It makes sense. So in Israel, you signify you are full by leaving a little bit on your plate. The thousands who followed Jesus in order to hear him teach were stuck. They were stuck. There was no time for them to travel to get food, and the price of feeding so many was astronomical. Jesus took a boy's lunch and miraculously fed the crowd. Yep, he sure did. The little boy had his lunch. He was the only one smart out of the 5,000. Little boy had his little lunch. And did he know that day that King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, our Savior, would take his lunch and feed 5,000 men. And he did more than just feed their bellies, that day. He fed their soul. He gave them hope. He gave them a meaning to life. And man, think about that little boy. He didn't know, did he? But boy, oh boy, he knew. And I'm sure he told that story even when he was an old grandpa, telling that story that Jesus took my lunch and fed 5,000, Wow, right? That is a miracle. And like it says, he miraculously fed the crowd. Did you notice there were leftovers? Yeah, we talked about that. 12 baskets, similar to when Jesus turned water to wine in John chapter 2. Yeah, that's another miraculous thing. They had at a wedding, they had run out of wine. And Mary says, hey, Jesus, they're out of wine. Do you think you could do something? And Jesus says, I got this. He tells them, go out here. I think he said, fill it, maybe. Fill them with water or whatever. And boom. Turned them all full of good wine. Not no leftover wine, put a cork on it after it's been drunk some. No, this was good stuff.
Good stuff.
The good stuff. And then, or when he fed the 4,000 in Mark chapter 8. We ain't got there yet in the devotion, but anyways, he gave them more than enough. Jesus' power is more than enough to deliver on his promises. He promised to give us abundant life on earth, and he will deliver. He promised to be with us as we journey through difficulties, and he will deliver. He promised an eternity with him, and he will deliver. Today, stop for a moment to be encouraged by Jesus' power. It is more than enough. That's right. You know what?
That's exactly, amen.
That's exactly it. So, Jesus is more than enough. We don't need nothing else. Why? Because, like he said when he went back, he told the disciples, he says, I go to prepare a place for you. I go to where my Father has many mansions. Yeah. So when he prepares a place for us, he will deliver, just like it says.
And he keeps his promises.
And having an abundant life here on earth while we're here, he does deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no price you can put on peace. And there's no price you can put on joy. Just being happy. And people think, why are you happy? You ain't got nothing. We got more than enough. Me and Cynthia have more than enough. And hopefully y'all feel that way about your life too. But I know I ain't perfect and I've not felt more than enough throughout my whole life. But right now I can say that, yeah, we got more than enough. So there we go, guys. We appreciate you watching. It's a Monday, daily devotion. And hit the thumbs up. Helps out. Hit the thumbs up. Leave us a comment. All that.
The alert bell.
Yeah, the alert bell. And And we'll see y'all on the beautiful next one. So peace out. Love you all. Yeah.
And I just want to say to everybody to please never give up, because you're so worth and you're so special.
Yeah.
And you have a beautiful purpose.
That's right.
Always remember that, you guys. That's pretty special.
Yeah.
So tuck that in your heart and soul.
That's right.
So that being said, you guys, we'll see you on the beautiful next one. And love you guys. Wait. Love you guys.
Yeah.
You're hurt.
Y'all have a good one.